this country. Now, the good news is, and it's always been this way, and we need to make sure we understand this, folks of color who acknowledge the persistent truth of racism and discrimination do not say that as a result they have no chance in life. It's not as if people give up. It's not as if folks adopt, as some on the right would suggest, a permanent victim mentality and decide not to work hard any longer. No, in fact, it is as has always been the case. If you look at black and brown communities in our country, what did parents in those communities say a generation and 2 and 3 generations ago about race to their children? Inevitably, it was some version of, you're going to have to work twice as hard to get as far because of the social context. That did not cripple those individuals who were told that. It did not lead them to give up or to adopt a permanent victim mentality, this absurdist argument that gets made now and then for why we shouldn't talk about it because people will think they have no chance. If that were true, it would have been true 100 years ago, because black and brown parents didn't keep it from their kids then. It would have been true a generation ago and 2 generations ago, because black and brown parents certainly didn't keep it from their children. In fact, if anything, telling the truth was the best initiative that one could offer, because one would not get sort of slack about how hard things were going to be. Knowing that an obstacle is in your path is the best way to try to figure out a way to go around it. I have 2 little girls, and on the one hand, I can tell them as a parent, and they're white, but as girls and as women one day, they will no doubt face discrimination at the hands of those who still, in spite of all the evidence to the contrary, view them as less capable because they are women. I can tell them on the one hand, you can be anything you want to be, and that's fine, and all parents do that. That's what we do for the most part. But if I don't also tell them about the very real obstacles that some will try to place in their path to derail that truth from becoming true, I wouldn't be a very good father. Because I would be setting them up in the face of hurdles that I did not prepare them for. And then when they hit those hurdles, if they hit them, and they likely will, they will be ill prepared to overcome them. So we talk about these things truthfully and honestly, and the good news is that when folks of color have this sense that the system isn't fair, they still say they believe that they can make it if they work hard. It hasn't taken away from that faith, but it means that folks are capable of having 2 truths in their head at one time. Right? On the one hand, that they always have to make their own maximum effort and take personal responsibility for their lives, and folks of color have been doing that for hundreds of years in this country, usually without any press coverage, usually without anyone talking about it, usually without anyone praising it, but on the other hand, that we also have an obligation to sweep away the institutional, systemic, and structural barriers that oftentimes, in spite of the best initiative on the part of the individual, can in fact derail that individual from obtaining all that they are capable of obtaining.